Alright, this is the first time you're actually seeing my VTube model. Bear with me. I'm working off a goofy fucking face cam because I ain't buying no $300 phone. You got me fucked up. But we are talking about the Stop Killing Games initiative again. Because you would think, okay, they've reached 1 million signatures, maybe a little, maybe like over 1 million, but we don't know how many of those are actually valid to have to go through all that. And a lot of people that I talk to are like, well, it doesn't matter. No one cares. And this is happening 407, like literally yesterday. And the Video Games Europe is now forming a coalition against Stop Killing Games. Now, if it didn't matter, if Stop Killing Games was an initiative that just didn't matter whatsoever, why would they now be forming this coalition against them? Move my mic up a little bit, make me look weird. But we appreciate the passion of our community. However, the decision to discontinue online services is multifaceted, never taken lightly, and must be an option for companies when an online experience is no longer commercially viable. We understand it can be disappointing for players, but when it does happen, the industry assures the players are given fair notice of prospective changes in compliance with local customer protection laws. Yeah, you're working with the current laws that exist now. The problem is, like the TOS, the laws, I believe they are erring more on the side of the company to cover their ass instead of the consumer, right? Like the Crew. The Crew was this massive happening, a game that you can play offline, like single player, but it still required you to be online. So when they shut that game off, like they shut the whole damn thing down. And I think people were given a 2 week notice, and now they're being sued for that. It's like, okay, maybe under these current, laws that err on the side of the company, err on the side of the against the consumer. Okay, you can argue, yeah, it definitely works. But again, my argument is these laws are not for working for the consumer. The TOS is thrown in these services do not work for the consumer. So, well, and again, the initiative isn't really saying, oh no, this is what you need to do. It's not a set of demands, it's getting the conversation going, and it's working. Like, an entire coalition of companies are now coming together against it. So it's absolutely achieving its goal. Private servers are not always a viable alternative option for players, as the protection we put in place to secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community content would not exist and would leave rights holders liable. Like, there are game servers that exist from abandoned where to this day that easily does that. Like, how the fuck did online games be able to do all these things, right, without having such idiotic TOS or all these, like, DRMs and anti-piracy and protection? Like, how did games like WoW manage to do this? And, like, I talked to someone who does legal in, like, for companies, software companies, sometimes for gaming companies. Like, a server can run, a game and a server can run without half of the things thrown in by companies to harvest your data, log all your interactions, without all these anti-piracy, anti-software things that run in the background and gives you a worse product. Like, you can run a game server without these. Like, there are game servers that exist to this day without any of that. So, I don't believe you. I'm calling bullcrap. I think, again, this is a coalition that's just arguing, that exists specifically to argue against anything Stop Killing Games is trying to do, even though the consumer believes Stop Killing Games is reasonable. And it clearly does, because it reached its goal. It reached 1 million signatures. It's getting the ball rolling. In addition, many titles are designed from the ground up to be online only. In effect, these proposals would cartel developer choice by making these video games prohibitively expensive to create. Again, how the fuck did it happen in the past? Like, it's like we're in the dark age of technology where things were able to run in the past, but now they can't unless, you build them from the ground up, right? And what they mean is, okay, most online games exist with these predatory business practices in mind, with these big business practices and TOSs in mind that can effectively cut out the consumer altogether, cut them from the product. Like, it is made against the consumer in mind. Therefore, we can't do this. It's like, well, okay, well, that's the problem, right? And again, this isn't what Stop Killing Games are talking about. But, okay, this right here is the issue. Like, so many TOS, so many licenses, so many addendums were snuck in, into video games, into live services that do not benefit the consumer. In fact, it hurts the consumer. It actively hurts the consumer. It hurts the game. It hurts the community. And it hurts gamers. So what Stop Killing Games is doing is addressing this. We welcome the opportunity to discuss our position with policymakers and those who have led the European Citizen Initiative in the coming month. Why not discuss this with the consumer, with the gamer, with the people that put money on your table? Well, they know why they can't do this, because a lot of them are signing that petition, right? About 1 million of them is signing that. So they're like, we're not going to talk to you, the consumer, right? We're going to talk to policymakers. We're going to talk to, the figureheads of the European Citizen Initiative. We're going to, maybe, I guess you can't lobby because that's corruption. And you're in Europe, like in America, we've legalized corruption. We call it lobbying. It's like, we can we can't slip you money to the individual, but we can slip money to this organization made by the individual, and they can withdraw it that way. And that's how lobbying is done. So yeah, I'm assuming this is the carbon nuke. Yeah, I have to put all that because they wage war on the average person. They're trying to go green. So my overall perspective is, like, Ross, the figurehead. I don't even think he's really the figurehead. I mean, it's being led by a lot of people under him. He's just sort of like the microphone. He has made waves, and at least in Europe. And because it's happening in Europe, I think a lot of laws and regulations that America has, or a lot of like the products that America made, had to change to to comply with Europe, like with the iPhone and their stupid fucking chargers they had before changing it to the USB standard. Like, this is a big market. This is, a big contender in the global market. So if this gets the ball rolling, we will see a lot of video game companies, maybe he turn tail and be like, okay, well, let's go back to the drawing board, because at first we were able to make all these rules and addendums under people's noses, and they figured us out. Now what do we do? And it's the fact that a lot of these TOSs are moot if, the law says you can't do this. Like, you can make whatever TOS you want. You can slip it however way you want under people's nose, have them sign it. It doesn't matter if the law is like, no. If the consumer comes together and pass laws, and I get it, a lot of people are against this because demanding a government organization, at least here in America, demanding a government organization does the one fucking thing it's made to do. It's like, oh, well, government overreach. And it's like, okay, there's always that fucking risk. But again, I'm not being unreasonable. Like, maybe it should do what it's meant to do half of the time, right? Like, I get it. Demanding, the FDA does the thing it's supposed to do 70 or 80% of the time. That's too much. But, yeah, it takes our taxpayer money, right? But people don't want it to do the thing it's supposed to do, So, that's kind of the thing here in America. But I think in Europe, like, a lot of these companies will find out that they're breaking a law, or will be breaking a lot of laws, or they probably are now. It's just no one's kicking up a fuss until now that Stop Killing Games has rolled up. So I'd like to see how this works, voice crack. I'd like to see how this works, or how this rolls out in the future. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. Peace.